Yeah, shalom, 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 everyone. I want to apologize for the issues we've been having. But we had to come in on this other one to where we can take care of this pretty simply, and then I can check it later to see what was going on. But today we're going to go through a kind of a short teaching today, and but we want to get a couple of things really straight and get some understandings here. Because basically, we have people who's out there teaching on Psalms 137 and 7. And we got to look at this real closely because they're actually using this not just as a prophecy, but they also using this as the doctrine they teach and teaching people literally how you actually go through to see prophecy and many different things to which they actually is technically just boldface lying to you. So we got to take a close look at this because I'm talking. These are some real popular camps that's doing it. We got some real popular camps that teach. They love to do prophecy teachings, and it's really important to where once you go through these teachings, you have to understand what they do and how they actually work it. So we're going to be looking at this. We're going to be taking a close look at Psalms 137 and basically what it says and understand what it do. Because one of the biggest problems, what they love to do, and they like to use teaching from their main logic, from their standpoint, and get it wrong, where they get many things completely wrong. But camps like to teach a lot of silly type doctrines. Because one, they love to teach the 12 tribe chart, and they love to teach that Esau is the white man. So I asked them the same as these corner boys like to do sometimes, to which we're going to show you exactly some things and what people need to do to challenge them, even when they come with some of these doctrines, which actually makes no sense. So we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this real closely. And let's start here. We're going to go to Genesis. And it's 49 verse 5, and it tells you Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. So we know clearly that Simeon and Levi are brothers. They straight up brothers, blood brothers. However, they are about to put in what they are all about, where it tells you, it says instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. So it's letting you know clearly that they literally about putting out pain. This is what they good at doing. Why? Because it says, "Oh my soul, come not thou unto their secret, unto their assembly, my honor, be not thou united." So he didn't want these two to ever unite. Why? Because it was a problem. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall. Meaning what? They took out an entire city. Understand what that's saying. They took out an entire city. So it better not come into their secret. Why? You better not be united when they're on one accord. On one accord. Because in their anger, they took out a whole city. They took out a whole mankind. They tore down the protection and everything within the city. Talking about these two brothers. These two brothers to where they cannot be in this manner. Meaning what? Let's look at it a little bit more. And it says, "Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, in their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel." So again, this tells you again, this 12 tribe chart is a complete lie. Why? Because they love to use Simeon and Levi, or hate Levi is Haitian and Simeon is the Dominican. So how is that true? And he's going to scatter them in Israel and in Jacob. So you won't know, so they won't even know who they are. This is lie one. Clear, bold-faced, unadulterated lie that they teach, and there's no way possible they can sit there and say they have figured this out and how they were separated, and they don't even say this, but they using a separation of a chart. So how is it true that so either they got this right or Jacob is lying in the scriptures? Because one of them's lying. One of them are clearly lying. Either they got this right on the chart, or Jacob got it right and these boys is lying. This is a problem within itself. So all the Gentile have to do is walk up to them and show them these same verses and sit there and can shut down the complete doctrine. But we got to go deeper than this, because these 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 teachings on what they really was doing, they actually was sent to me, and you got to see how they actually work this, because they using these things and they telling these things and they telling people, showing them, oh, this is this, this is that, yeah, and what are you, and this is that. Number one, they don't know who was sent to anyone, because the main thing is, once they was all loaded on a ship, they did not sit there and tell you, Judah, get on this one, Gad, get on this one, Reuben, you get on this boat, Naphtali, you get on this boat, Asher, you get over here, Issachar, you get over here. The silliness, straight up silliness, but people believe it. People are believing this nonsense. And then they want to go down to where they keep teaching that Esau is the white man. Why do you guys keep going after white folks and white folks doing what they do? And then you want to sit there and just show how much whatever you have against it, just keep going at, oh, no, Esau, Esau. So the same thing, even if Esau, let's say Esau was the brother. He said, you can't arbor your brother, but you talk about how much you hate him. This is foolish doctrine. But we got to break this down, because now they're trying to say Esau or Edom is the Romans. Silliness. It's total silliness. One, it would have already been said, if they was the Roman, it would have been said that they was Roman, that they was Esau, that they was from Edom. It would have been said right up front. But we know that's not true, because guess what? They don't even speak of it. But we got to go deeper. We got to go deeper, because what we got to understand is they go around and they love to teach these silly doctrines. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein have you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Common sense, but they out there teaching a foolish doctrine. Said the Lord, yet I love Jacob. They are brothers. So people have a problem, so they do not even understand what nation or tribes mean, which is one of the same thing. A tribe of Judah is the same thing as the nation of Judah. It's the same thing, all under the umbrella of Israel, which makes you the children from which you are Israelites. This is common sense, but they want to sit there and they separate it when they're telling you that two nations are in that or is in your womb, and they just sit there and talk about two different types of people, completely different types of people. Silliness. Silliness, and they sit there out there and they do this. However, you have some camps love to teach this main doctrine, which was brought to me. And it says Psalms 137, verse 7. And the reason why I'm actually more upset about this, because what they're doing, they're teaching the Israel silly doctrines. That's why I say I don't have a problem with Gentiles now. They want to go to there and learn from it. That's up to them. I'm dealing with Israel, with fools out there teaching this silly doctrine. That's what I'm dealing with. Because it says, remember, O Lord, thy children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, rise, it riseth even to the foundation thereof. Now we got some fools out there teaching, talking about rise of Rome. Some very prominent Israelites. Prominent where I'm talking about they got many people up under them. And that's not what this is saying. That's not even what this is saying. Why? Because if they would have took the time and learned English and what things mean, they would have understood what this meant. And we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this real close, because the children of Edom, and we got to remember what this is saying. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, rise it, rise it, even into the foundation. So we need to understand what happened. We need to understand what that word means, because they's talking about something being built up. We're gonna find out what that's talking about. But let's see what Edom did. See, because Edom clicked up with some people, even, and it said they are taking crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden one. Esau was in on this. Esau was clearly in on this deal. Why? Because they taken crafty counsel against Israel and what they did. And they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. So they're trying to wipe some people out so it won't be no more remembrance within the world. That's what they was trying to do. Who was in on it? Esau. Esau was clearly in on this. Clearly in on this. But they even went on more. For they have consulted together in one consent, and they are confederate against thee. So now we know clearly they are confederate against thee. They confederate. So what do all this mean? Let's understand what all this means to get the example and understand what's happening. It says again, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, rise it, even to the foundation thereof. So if they would have took the time, understood affiliations, understood how to actually precept, you wouldn't be having my people stumble. Because the affiliation of this don't mean rise it, don't mean rise above. It means erase. Common sense would have told them that. That's all it means. It means erase it, even unto the foundation thereof. Why? Because we're going to find out, we're going to look at an example. Let's go to 1 Maccabees 5:50. And it says, the soldier pitched the tent, pitched and assaulted the city all that day, all that night, till the length the city was delivered into their hands. So this is what we know was happening. So remember, Edom, the problem was not understanding what's going on, but this was so-called, this Judas man pitched and assaulted the city all day and all night until they had delivered into his hands. But I want you to watch something. Who then slew all the males with the edge of the sword. So they killed every male within that city. And did what? And rise the city. They erased that because there was no more males there to where they can reproduce anything in that city. So they got rid of everybody in that city and took the spoils thereof and passed through the city over them that were slain. So this city was destroyed. It's completely no more in existence. That's all this was doing. They killed the males and they erased them directly from the face of the earth. Passed through the city and slain, killed all them and did away with them. So when you sit there and you see in Psalms, when you sit there and you see this, it's saying erase it, is to the foundation thereof. That's what it's saying, even into the foundation thereof. This is what David was saying when we were going to be taken captive. And that's why it was saying it was requiring us that we have to sing a song. If we get the O Jerusalem, if I do not remember thee, all you got to do is go back and read the psalm and you'll see this is exactly what this is talking about. Why? Because of what they was doing. What they was doing. Why? Because Edom had a problem. Edom had a problem with us, but we're going to get into this. This is what we're going to see. Because Edom wanted us to be erased from the face of the earth, as with the others. However, we got to see what happened. Let's look at this. Let's go to Obadiah chapter 3, and we're going to look at it. It says, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee. Thou hast dwellest in the cliff of the rock, whose habitation is high. Thus said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Because this is Esau and them talking. See, that's them talking. See, with the pride of their heart, they deceived thee. Who? They deceived their brother. Who did they deceive as a brother? He only had one brother. So Jacob have 12 sons. So we know who they're talking about. So we know who he's talking about. And we're going to look at this. So if they sitting there and in their heart they deceive thee, thou hast dwellers in the cliffs of rocks, in those habitation on high, and saith in thy heart, who shall bring thee down to the ground? But watch what happens. We got to see how this whole thing goes down and how Israel was brought down as a whole. Let's look at this through there. And it says, do thou exalt thyself as the eagle, as though thou hast set thy nest among the stars. Thence would I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So now the Lord sitting there, he's going to get mixed in on it, but we're going to find out what's going to happen because they exalted themselves as an eagle set among the stars. However, we got to see what's going on. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would thou not have stolen till thou have had enough? If the great grafters came to thee, would thou not leave some grapes? Really? So if the thief came and they stole, they didn't have enough? So we have to look at this real close. Why was Esau having this problem? How art the thing of Esau searched out? It's telling you. It's telling you. But we have foolishness where people teach another foolishness. But it's saying, how art thy things searched out? Who are his hid things sought up? So old Esau had hid things, but they're sought up. Meaning what? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee unto the borders. So Esau, when you go back and you look at Psalms 83, you're going to see everybody he was confederate with brought thee even to the borders. This is what Esau and them was into. Make this clear. But we got fools teaching all otherwise. We have fools out there telling you all this silliness. But it's in all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. They deceived thee. This is what Esau. Esau was the key person. Esau was the main one who was the key to make sure this can be deceived and prevailed against thee. Why? Because Esau is thy brother, and we figured they were going to be cool with us, but they deceived us. They that eat thy bread and laid a wound under thee, there is none understanding in him. This is Esau. That's what Esau did. He deceived Israel. He made sure their plan worked. This is what he did. But he gets on better. Shall not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise man out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Because he's hot. Should not in the one day that the Most High God destroy Edom, understanding the mount of Esau? Why? Because it's a particular one who actually set this up. This is not talking about Rome. This is not talking about Rome, some fool talking about. But let's look at this. And it says, oh, thy mighty man, O Taman, shall be dismayed. The mighty man of Taman, the firstborn of Eliphaz, is one of the most prominent tribes out of Edom. Who? Taman. One of the most prominent boys in there. To the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Because he wanted to make sure he get Taman. So these are the main ones we need to mainly focus on. Why? Because Taman was not playing. Taman the one set us up. It was him who set us up. But it gets better. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, there we go. They was confederate, and you see the hookup. And violence against thy brother's shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. As I was saying, Taman gonna get hooked up with this. See, because even a remnant of Esau gonna be saved. However, Taman not gonna be in this mix. As it said, they're gonna be cut off forever. fighting against their brother Jacob, shame should cover it. Tamar should be cut off. And then we're going to come back to this because we got to understand something. It says, in that day, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Who? The tribe of Tamar, the nation of Tamar. They're not playing with us. They was hooking us up. They already fooled. They were sitting there eating with us, and they hooked us up. They deceived us. They deceived us, and it was really confederate with them. This is the problem. But it gets better. Watch this. But thou shouldst not have looked on the day that thy brother in that day that became a stranger, neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in that day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Who? Tamar. See, they looked at us as we were strangers. They didn't even know who we were. Rejoiced over our destruction. Spoken proudly over our destruction. Happy that we was being destroyed. Children of Esau. This is what they had did to us. This is what they was doing. But it gets better. It gets better. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people, who, Israel, in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. This is what they was doing. They're going to go in as we being carried off. They in there grabbing stuff out of our houses. They know you ain't coming back. They know we're not going to be back at any time. So they're going to go in and grab what they want. Who? The boys of Tamar. They fooled us as we was cool with one another, and they did us in. This was not Japhet. And Japhet was involved in it. However, it was Tamar who hooked us up. It was Tamar who we trusted. It was Tamar the one got us hooked up. So, but it gets on better. And it said, neither should thou have stood on the crossway and cut off those of his that did escape. Meaning what? Some of us was making an escape. Tamar boys grabbed us and brought us back. Tell you right there. We thought we was getting away, and Tamar boys took us back. Neither should thou have delivered us up to his that did remain in the day of distress. This is what was going down. This is what was happening. This we can't get around. We have to understand what all this was about. When all this stuff went down, and when people try to sit there and tell you what was going on, first you need to tell them, learn how to precept first before you try to go do anything about what you're trying to do. Because this clearly what was going on. We were sitting there, and as some of us tried to escape, the nation of Tamar gathered us up and took us right back. So we couldn't get away. So we could not get away. For the day of the Lord is near, and upon the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. This is why he's going to hook Taman up. Thy reward shall be returned upon thy own head. This is what he's going to do. This ain't even talking about Rome. But they talking about rise, talking about the rise of Rome and all this silliness. Just pure silliness. Egypt shall be a desolation, as it is right now, because the original people are not there. And Edom shall be desolate, a desolate wilderness, as it is. But they want to sit there and say Esau's rising high. Esau ain't rising high, but that's the foolishness that they teach. For the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shedded blood, innocent blood, in their land. This is the problem. This is the main problem. But you have people keep going and they want to sit there and they like to get mixed up with silliness because they like to sit there and talk a lot of drama. Drama this, drama that. They take the same people, we're going to go hang out in the wilderness for a little while. You're already in the wilderness. They're teaching you a silly doctrine. And many people know who they are because there's many of them out there that teach this silliness. See, and that's why people say, well, you talking about, no, I'm talking mainly to Israelite ones who call themselves teachers, because it tells you plain as day, for when it is time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which is the first principles of the oracles of God. And are become as such need of milk, because that's what they need, and not a strong meat. Why? Because they teach a silly doctrine. Teaching is just silliness. You know, you got some, they like to get the mix up. Jesus is God. Esau's the white man. The 12 tribe chart is real. Then as you're walking down the street, where's your fringes? Women, why you have on pants? They don't even know what breeches mean. This is silliness. I'm telling you, it gets so repulsive, it's unreal. And then the first thing they want to do, they want to sit there and talk about how much doctrine they know. And the only thing they do, the first thing they do, they go run to all these other things and beliefs than what they think that what they have is right. So this is the problem. But this is one of the main things they pushing right now. Talking about that Psalms 137, talking about Rome is Esau, and Esau is part of that, and the rise of that, and it's all silliness. So hopefully that you guys got something, some understanding out of that. But as I said, prominent people out there is teaching that silliness. They teaching it, and all they want to do is sit there acting like they're doing something, and they can't put two quarters together. Meaning what? They can't even line them up. So people who want to just be in the mix, I get it. If you just want to be in the mix, then so be it. You stay in the mix. But you guarantee you one thing, you're going exactly where he going. You know, you guys sitting there, you giving all this stuff. They out there, they selling the classes. They sell the classes for $300, $400, $500 and doing all this just silliness. This is I'm telling you, it's unreal on what they do. It is unreal on what they do. So, and yeah, same thing. Yeah, study yourself approved. Exactly the point, because you got fools out there teaching. And then they want to sit there and thinking, oh, well, yeah, well, at least they get a little bit right. At least they get a little bit right. No, what they're going to do is get you in hell. But they teach silliness. And that, and then they sent another one this morning. I looked at it and just, it's unreal on silliness that they teach. Then they want to walk around with they so-called mysteries on their head, and it tells you plain as day, don't do it. And they do it. Silliness. Yeah. So hopefully that you guys got some teaching, some understanding out of there. But the same thing is, they sitting there, they want you to be mad at something, and they keep pointing you to Esau is the white man. Esau is this. Esau, they keep putting blame somewhere without looking at blame. We're the one put ourselves in this position. Us put ourselves in this position. We inherited what was given to us from our forefathers, and it's up to us to start correcting it. But they want to sit there and they want to point right to some white man. No, he did. No, they the ones doing this. Really? If you get right, he'll put us back place how we should be. But we can't do that. What we want to do is sit there. We're so quick to push blame, it's unreal. Hurry. Oh, no, they didn't do. No, they did it. They did it. Then tomorrow, no, they did it. Silliness. Just complete silliness. And then after they do that, then they want you to support them so they can go travel all over the place. So hopefully, I've been in the truth. This is, yeah, probably so. Could be. But the main thing is, I know a lot of that stuff came out of One West. So that I do know. A lot of that came out of there, and a lot of that little silliness came right out of One West. A ton of it did. And they have a lot of those in there, and they love to sit there to hold on to, where they got a little pocket full of precepts that all of them work with, which is silliness. Besides going through a book, and then they want to go through all their little books and all their little encyclopedias, all their concordances, all their blue letters, all their stuff, and can't precept around Dr. Seuss. That's irritating. So yeah, you grew up in Harlem, so I know you know what I'm talking about. But hopefully you guys understand this, and this is one of the things they actually pushing, and then they push another one that's going out there, because they also have another one where they teach a Paleo Hebrew. The silliness. I'm talking about silliness. Really, it's irritating. And they charge people and getting it. And Paleo Hebrew is a written language, not spoken. Written, spoken. People, if you won't be fooled that way, some people, yeah, I don't know what happened here. I really don't know what happened. I'm trying to see what is going on here, because either this thing has went out, yeah, I'm trying to see what happened here.